So we get started. So I hope you're able to see my screen. 1 minute. Yeah. Now listen. So yesterday we discussed a very important concept, that is the analytical approach to stationary waves. Right. So in that I showed you the derivation. This is wave traveling to the right, and this is the equation for reflected wave. Then if you take y is equal to y1 plus y2 according to the principle of superposition, where y1 is a sine of omega t minus kx and y2 is a sine of omega t plus kx. When you solve everything, the final equation that you're going to get is y is equal to 2a cos of kx into sine omega t. Okay. So this equation represents the equation of a standing wave. This also I told you. So by now you should have heard two types of waves. One is a progressive wave. So this is a progressive wave, and the equation which we obtained here is for a standing wave. Okay. So in yesterday's video, I also showed you that a standing wave looks something similar to this. Right. This like two standing waves. Or I can say something like this. This is a standing wave. This is forward, and this is the reflector. Right. Now, there are certain points which have no amplitude. These points are called as nodes, N-O-D-E-S. And there is a point where the distance between the forward and the reflected wave is maximum. Those points are called as antinodes. So antinodes are the points where the amplitude is maximum. Nodes are the points where the amplitude is least, that is zero. Okay. Now what we are going to do is, with the help of this mathematical equation, we are going to find out what are all the points at which we have nodes and antinodes. Concentrate, because there is, unfortunately they have cancelled trigonometric equation. They have deleted trigonometric equations from your math. For this concept, that point is needed. So I cannot explain you the whole theory, just concentrate on what I'm going to say. So y is equal to 2a cos kx. If I write it as sine omega t, then if you call a dash is equal to 2a cos kx, then the meaning is the amplitude of the standing wave, right? Then I can write the standing wave as y dash is equal to a dash sine omega t. I can write it as y is equal to a dash sine omega t, where this a dash is what is called as the amplitude of standing wave. Am I right? But is it not looking similar to a simple harmonic motion? So this equation is similar to a simple harmonic motion, except the fact that in a simple harmonic motion, the amplitude is a constant. Whereas in the case of a standing wave, the amplitude is not going to be a constant. It is going to change with respect to distance because it depends on x, where x is the distance from the starting point. Am I clear till this point, guys? Is it clear?
Sir, so the formula of A dash is 2A cos.
It is not. It is not a formula. If I call that as A dash, that is, I am trying to call this whole thing as the amplitude of the standing wave. Okay, so don't misunderstand it as a formula. It is not a formula. Still, the equation of standing wave is this only: 2a sine cos kx into sine omega t. I'm just trying to explain what is the difference
No, sir,
between simple harmonic motion and a standing wave.
I'm asking for A dash, sir. Did you
That
just
a
take as an
dash is not a
example?
formula. If you take it as an example, then a dash is the amplitude of the standing wave. Okay. So facts to be known here are cos kx is maximum value of cos kx one. Minimum value of cos kx is -1. Okay, so have this in your mind. Now, if I call a dash as 2a cos kx, then a dash will be maximum if cos kx is equal to 1. Am I right? That is, if I substitute the value, the maximum value of cos here, then 2a into the maximum value of cos will give me the maximum value of a dash. So, cos kx is equal to 1. What is the value of kx? Cos of what angle is equal to 1?
0.
So cos 0 is 1, that is right. But when you take a trigonometric function, when you take them as a circular function, no, see 0 means the line is coinciding with the x-axis. When it completes a rotation of 360 degrees, again the line will coincide with x-axis, right? When it has completed one complete revolution, what is the total angle it has covered?
360.
360 degrees in terms of radians,
2 pi.
2 pi radians. Similarly, if it makes another revolution, if it makes two complete revolution, how much is the angle it is going to cover?
4 pi.
4 pi. So kx is the angle here. So can I say kx can be 0, 2 pi, 4 pi, 6 pi, so on till infinity. It keeps on going, right? So when you revolve in anti-clockwise direction, it is plus 2 pi. When you revolve in clockwise direction, it will be minus 2 pi. So I can write it as plus or minus 2 pi, plus or minus 4 pi, plus or minus 6 pi, so on. Okay. So kx is equal to 0, 2 pi, 4 pi, 6 pi. If I observe everything, aren't they multiples of pi? What multiples of pi are they?
2.
It is 2n. It is 2 times some integer because it is plus or minus, where n belongs to z. Z stands for integer. Okay, don't get confused, guys. So k is nothing but 2 pi by lambda into x is equal to 2n pi. So 2 pi and 2 pi will get cancelled. X will be equal to n lambda. So this x is equal to n lambda is the positions on the x-axis, are the positions on the x-axis where nodes, antinodes are formed. Okay, that is if you take n number of standing waves, okay, if you take n number of standing waves, let's say it is keeping on going, then if I take x is equal to 0, this is the first position where, okay, this is the first position, that is lambda is the distance where the first node is formed. This lambda 2 lambda is the position where the second antinode is formed. Are you able to understand? So it keeps on going like this. Please make a note of this point. This is very, very important. If there is any doubt, get it clarified.
Sir, could you go up and show the top part, sir? Before max value of cos x. Yes, sir, from here. Thank you, sir.
So guys, I'm extremely sorry. One small correction that I have to make is, if I take this as a line, wait, try to understand. No, this involves a lot of maths, so concentrate. If I take this as a line, if I take this direction as +1, this direction will be -1. So when I talk about antinode, cos kx need not be 1 alone. It has to be plus or minus 1. I'm sorry about it. It should be plus or minus 1. Okay. So did you guys understand? You will get 0, 2 pi, 4 pi, 6 pi under what scenario? When the value of cos kx is equal to 1. Similarly, tell me what will happen when the value of cos kx is equal to -1. What are all the angles for which cos kx will be -1?
270, sir.
No, it is 180. So angles will be 0. So cos 0 is 1. Cos plus or minus pi is how much? Cos pi is -1. Cos of minus pi is also -1. Plus or minus 2 pi is how much? Cos 2 pi is 1. Cos minus 2 pi is also 1. Similarly, plus or minus 3 pi, it keeps on going like this. So for every multiple of pi, integral multiple of pi, cos kx will either be +1 or -1. And that is a point where the antinode is formed. So the small correction that I need to make here is kx is equal to n pi, 2 pi by lambda into x. So pi and pi will get cancelled. X will be how much? X is equal to n times lambda by 2. So lambda by 2, lambda, that is how it keeps going. I will try to explain everything practically, but as of now, you have to understand this. Okay, you need to have a little bit of patience and wait for it. Am I clear with this concept? Did you guys understand why it should be plus or minus 1? Because where, by the way, tell me, you guys understood what is an antinode? I'll just keep some points. Tell me. point P and P dash, is it a point of node or antinode?
Sir, could you explain antinode once again, sir?
Antinode is maximum amplitude.
Okay, sir.
So if you take a standing wave, if you look at it like an eye, the structure of an eye, okay, there are two endpoints where there is no amplitude, that is both the waves are meeting, and there is a certain point where the distance between the traveling wave and the reflected wave is maximum, and that point is what is antinode. And the points where the amplitude is zero is what is called as node. You can remember it like this: NO means no amplitude. The counterpart of something is anti. So the one which has maximum amplitude is antinode.
Sir, so
Is that
x
clear?
is equal to sir, so x is equal to n lambda by 2 is antinode, sir. Like formula for antinode.
It
Sir.
is the point where antinode. It is the points where you will have antinode. Means if you take a standing wave like this, let's say how many standing waves are formed in this, in the diagram that I took.
5.
Each eye-like structure is a standing wave. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. In those 5 standing waves, if I take the first position as x is equal to 0, from x is equal to 0, at what distance from it is the first antinode formed? I'll put n is equal to 1 here, lambda by 2. If I put n is equal to 2 there, then I'll get the position of my second antinode, that is lambda. If I put n is equal to 3, I'll get the position of my third antinode, that is 3 lambda by 2. Does this make sense? Are you able to understand? More importantly, are you able to visualize it?
Yes, sir.
Right. Then, what will be the condition for a node? So, condition for node is again a dash is how much? 2a times cos kx. So, what should be the value of a dash for a node? I told you, no? What is the amplitude at node? NO. It is no amplitude. No amplitude means what should it be? Should it not be a 0? So a dash should be 0. So 2 times cos kx is equal to 0 implies 2a cos kx is equal to, sorry. Cos kx is equal to 0. Tell me, what are all the values of cos at which you get a 0? What should be the value of cos at which you get 0?
90.
Yes. It is 90, 270, right? So where will cos give you 0? It will give you 0 on the y-axis. Once you cover 90 degrees, cos 90 is 0. Once you cover 270 degrees, cos 270 is 0. So 270, again you add a 180. How much is it? 450? Right. So can I say kx has to be plus or minus pi by 2, plus or minus 3 pi by 2, because 3 pi by 2 is 270, plus or minus 5 pi by 2, plus or minus 5 pi by 2 is 450, plus or minus 7 pi by 2, so on. So what should be the value? How do I write it as a general value? It is all pi by 2. Pi by 2 is multiplied with whom? With what are all the numbers that are 1, 3, 5? All these numbers are odd numbers. So how do you mathematically write an odd number? You write it as 2n plus 1 times
2 plus.
pi by 2. Right? So k is nothing but 2 pi by lambda, because it's angular wave number. It is 2n plus y into pi by 2. Pi and pi are gone. So x will be equal to 2n plus 1 into lambda the whole divided by 4. So these are the points where nodes are formed. right? So is this point clear, guys? 2n plus 1 into lambda by 4.
Clear, sir.
Now see. Now looking at this diagram, in those 5 standing waves, x is equal to 0 is a point where the first node is formed. So that is the starting point. It's a node according to the diagram I've considered. Okay. Then how far from this x is equal to 0 will this node be? Will this node be? If I put n is equal to 1, what am I going to get?
3/4 lambda.
So 3 by 4 lambda. So from here it is 3 lambda by 4 at which you are getting the first, the first node is starting. After this, what will this distance be from the starting point? If you put n is equal to 2, two n plus 1 into lambda by 4, n is equal to 2. You have the equation. Put n is equal to 2 in this.
5 lambda by 4.
That's it. That is 5 times lambda by 4. Again, you will get this one at 7 lambda by 4. Are you able to understand how that mathematical equation is actually useful? Right?
Yes, sir.
Right? See, now I will tell you how these are actually applied. So write it down. Write down the heading as standing waves in a string tied at both the ends. Tied or fixed. You can use either of the words. Standing waves in a string fixed at both the ends. Standing wave in string fixed at both ends. Okay. So before I start this topic, there are certain thumb rules which you need to have in your mind. First, at fixed end, please make a note of this. At fixed end, there will always be a node. Okay. At a fixed end, there will always be a node. At an open end, there will always be an antinode. So this is the thumb rule you need to have in your mind. Okay. Next. Speed of wave on a string is given by v is equal to root of t by mu. I will explain how this has come also later. Okay, as of now, accept it. I will show the derivation of this later. It's a simple derivation, but I don't want to mix up the concepts. So I'm repeating, if you have a string, on a string, if a wave is traveling, the wave travels with the speed of v is equal to root of t by mu, where T is the tension in the string. Write it down. T is the tension and mu is the linear mass density. That is mass per unit length. These are all the points you need to know. Okay. Now, can I start the concept, guys?
Yes, sir.
Right. So try to understand. Now, what did I say? You have a string. You have a string which is fixed at both the ends. Okay. Let's say this is the string you have in your hand. If suppose the string is disturbed, okay. If suppose the string is disturbed, then what will happen? Wherever disturbance is there, there will be a wave. Now the string is fixed at what points? It is fixed at points A and B. What is the thumb rule I told you? At the points where it is fixed,
Nodes.
it will always have a node. Means that point can't move. The reason is very simple, because if I take a particle here, the particle is held by the rigid body. It cannot move. It can become an antinode only if it is able to reach the maximum position. When it is not having the provision to move at all, there is no question of antinode. That's the reason, nothing else. Okay. If suppose the length of the string, okay, if suppose the length of the string is in such a way that I plugged it, and the number of standing waves that I could observe here is only one. Okay. Then I'm going to calculate what will be the frequency that will get generated. I will explain frequency also. You can hear everything in the form of sound. I'll show you. Okay. So concentrate again. I'm going to ask what is going to be the frequency that is going to get produced by generating only one standing wave of a string of length L. Clear? Listen. Now, the derivation is very, very simple. A and B, both the points are nodes, right? From the previous concept, lot of technical issues, guys. Wait, my screen share is going off. So tell me one thing. From the previous concept, you people told me that you understood where the nodes are formed. If I ask you, what is the distance between any two successive nodes? What is the answer? What is the distance between any two successive nodes? Suppose I've taken it like this. I've taken these blue color lines. Okay, observe it. What is the position of this node? It is 7 lambda by 4. Means the distance from the starting point to the node number 4 is 7 lambda by 4. The position from the left extreme to the node number 3 is how much? 5 lambda by 4. This point is clear, right? Now, how much will be the distance of separation between them? 1 minute. The charge in my pencil is over. You guys calculate and tell me.
We subtract, sir.
Subtract, tell me, no? Subtract and tell me.
Lambda
7
by
lambda
sir.
by. It is?
lambda by 2.
Very good. It is lambda by 2. Okay. So please make a note of this point also. The distance between any two successive nodes, underline that word successive. It is not between any two random nodes. The distance between any two successive nodes is always lambda by 2. In a similar context, you guys tell me what will be the distance of separation between two successive antinodes.
Lambda.
No. Same logic, applied, no? Where is the first antinode formed from the left? It's there in the diagram, you're able to see. I've written it directly below x is equal to 0.
Lambda by 2.
Lambda by 2, sir.
It is at lambda by 2. And the second antinode is formed at a distance of lambda. So what will be the distance between these two antinodes?
Minus lambda by 2.
No minus, where the distance cannot be negative. No minus. When I say the distance between two successive antinodes, you will always tell me the positive value of it, because I'm using the word distance. Okay, this is lambda by 2. What is the difference between both?
Lambda by 2.
Lambda by 2. So here an important note is the distance between any two successive nodes or any two successive antinodes, underline the word successive, is always equal to lambda by 2. It is always lambda by 2. Please make a note of this point, guys. Clear? I hope that point has got registered. So if A is taken as the first node, then B is taken as the second node, then aren't they the successive nodes? So what should be the distance between A and B?
Lambda by 2.
That's it. But that lambda by 2 is nothing but the length of the string. Because AB is also equal to L. So can I write lambda by 2 is equal to L? Which implies lambda is equal to 2L. Correct? How will you write lambda in terms of, I told you our work is to calculate frequency because all these things are applicable to musical instruments. You're not going to apply it for light or something. All these are applicable to musical instruments. And the main work of a musical instrument is to produce a particular frequency. Okay. So lambda is equal to 2L. Then how do I write lambda in terms of speed and frequency? V is equal to lambda into F, where V is the speed. So can I write lambda is equal to V by F? That is 2L, which implies F is equal to V by 2L. Guys, am I clear? But what is the speed? I told you the sound travels on a string. It is root of T by mu. So 1 by 2L into, can I write it as root of T by mu?
Yes, sir.
Right. Now, this frequency which is getting generated,
Sir, how you wrote 1 by 2L, sir?
V is, I didn't understand what you're asking.
Sir, how you wrote that 1 by 2L in front of root?
And the place of V, I substituted root of T by mu. Is that clear?
Okay.
So this is called as the fundamental frequency of oscillation or fundamental frequency of vibration. Okay. So this is the basic frequency and it is represented by the symbol F1.
Sir, doubt.
Tell me.
So this will tell the frequency of a string, sir.
It will tell the frequency of the sound that is coming out. Yes. Frequency of the string. Yes. It will tell the frequency with which the string is vibrating.
Okay,
Okay.
sir. And it varies from
fundament-
instrument to instrument, right?
Yes, it varies. It varies from, what did you ask? Sorry, I got
From
a call.
instrument to instrument, from different strings.
Now, within the instrument itself will vary from string to string. That also I'll show you. That's why I told you I'll show you practically. You guys can see it, what I'm saying. Or it is also called as first harmonic. Okay. So have this point in your mind. Don't ask any more questions. I will explain the second mode of vibration. Then I'll show you what it means. Okay. So if only one standing wave is formed, then this mode of vibration is called as fundamental mode of vibration. Okay.
So can you see again, sir?
So if there is only one standing wave, how many standing waves are there? You know what is a standing wave? I like structure. If there is only one standing waveform, then it is called as fundamental mode of vibration. Fundamental, that is a basic one. Only one standing wave. Okay. So what is the fundamental frequency or the first harmonic? It is 1 by 2L into root of T by mu. In terms of music, they also call it as fundamental note. Frequency is nothing but a note. That's it. Note is a musical term. Frequency is a physics term. That's it. Okay. Let me explain the second point also. Then I will generalize it. I will show you everything. You guys can understand it. It's not a big thing. Within the same length of the string, okay, I can create a vibration in such a way that I'm not going to have only one standing wave. It is not necessary that a string has to vibrate only in one mode. It can vibrate in secondary mode also. Second mode means it is like this. How many standing waves should form? You're able to understand? A, B. Let me call this point as C. So what is this distance?
Lambda by 2.
Lambda by 2. Because it is a distance between successive nodes, and this distance is also lambda by 2. And still, what is the length of the string? It is the same string that is taken into consideration. Length didn't get doubled. Within the same length, instead of producing one standing wave, you are able to produce two standing waves. Correct? So what will be the value of L? It is lambda by 2 plus lambda by 2. That is lambda. But what is lambda? Lambda is V by F. So F will be equal to V divided by L. Correct? So can I write this as 1 by L into V? Okay. Then this F, can I write it as 1 by L into root of T by mu? This 1 by L, look at the manipulation I'm going to root. Can I write it as 2 divided by 2L into root of T by mu? Okay. Then that is called as F2. What do we call F2 as? This is what is technically called as the first overtone or second harmonic.
Sir, did you multiply 2 on numerator and denominator, sir?
Yes, I did it because I wanted 2L in the denominator. So that it will be a common formula. I can write the general equation at the end. So second F2 is called as the first harmonic or first overtone or second harmonic. Now you guys tell me what will be the next one.
Three by 3L into root of T by mu.
So what will be the name of the, so this is called as, I didn't tell the name, it's called as second mode of vibration. So second mode of vibration means two standing waves. Then third mode of vibration will be, let's do that, then we will generalize it. Then third mode of vibration will have 1, 2, 8, 1, 2, and off. It will be something like this. It is a node, node, and node. So what? So the distance L is how much? L will be equal to how many? See, how many?
3 lambda by 2, sir.
Very good. 3 times lambda by 2. So L will be equal to 3 by 2 into, in the place of lambda, you will have V by F, which implies F is equal to 3 by 2L into V. So F will be equal to 3 by 2L into root of T by mu, because V is root of T by mu, where T is the tension and M is the mass. Right. So F is equal to 3 by 2L into root of T by mu. Right. So can I call this as F3? Does this make sense, guys? F3 is equal to 3 by 12 into root of T by mu. What will be the name of this? You guys tell me, no? First
Third
overtone,
harmonic,
then this
sir.
will be
Second
Second
overtone.
over.
second overtone, or it is called as third harmonic. Like this, within the same length, it is not necessary I have to restrict it to a number. If it is in nth mode of vibration, nth mode of vibration means how many standing waves will get formed?
And
Next numbers.
N standing waves. So can I write Fn is equal to, you guys generalize and tell me, what is common in everything? 1 by 2L into root of T by mu is common. So what is getting multiplied in the numerator? It is the number
N.
which corresponds to the mode of vibration. So for nth mode of vibration, there will be n standing waves. Correct? So Fn, can I write it as n divided by 2L into square root of T by mu? So what will be the name of this frequency? So F2 is first overtone. So this will be n minus 1th overtone, or F3 is third harmonic. It will be nth harmonic. It's like progressions only. Are you guys able to understand? It's like writing the general equation in arithmetic progression. I did the same thing. I generalized this. Guys, am I clear?
Yes, sir.
Right? Now, can you give me an example where the string is tied at both the ends? Again, I told you this concept is mainly used for what? It's for a musical instrument. Right? So what are all the instruments that you people know where
Violin, guitar.
you can think of a violin, a guitar, or anything. If you want, you can actually design your own musical instrument also if you know this concept. Okay, I'll show it to you now. See. So you're able to see this, right? 1 minute. So before I show, I just want you guys to tell me one thing. What are all the factors on which the frequency that is getting there? What are all the properties of a string on which the frequency is dependent on?
The length, sir.
It depends on the length. It depends on the tension, the extent to which you tighten the strings at both the ends, and it depends on the mass also, right? So now have things in your mind. Let's look at these things. Okay, let me just pluck certain things and show it to you. So I've taken a violin. Okay, I don't know why it is getting cancelled. Just a minute. So it's there, right? I think this will not let me show. I think this software doesn't let me show. What do I do? But I'll try to log in through, and I'll try to share my screen and show it in another device. Just give me a minute, okay? See. Is there reflection? Are you guys able to see this? I'm not sure. Is there too much of reflection?
Yes, Little
Is it
bit
better?
flare, sir, but it's fine.
But it's fine, right? You guys can adjust it. Okay, I'll take it a little bit close. Okay, I'm holding my iPad in hand. Are you guys able to see the way the strings are? Wait, I'll try to shift the location. Okay, I'll put it here. Are you guys able to see the way the strings are? Are all the strings are of the same length? Are all the strings of the same length? Sorry, not same length. Are they of the same thickness?
No, sir.
Right, you're able to see, no? Which one is more thick? I'll take it from the top. 1, 2, 3, 4. Which one is more thick?
Fourth, sir.
Fourth is more thick, right? Now see, if I first string, are you guys able to hear some sound? See, I'm not. This should have a good sound. Are you guys able to see?
Yes, sir.
If you heard something, right? Now the point is, see, if you have to hear something as frequency, treat them as. See, I'll not expect everybody to know the musical terms. You can hear them as two different sounds. Tell me, are you able to hear it as two different sounds? Tell me that. Right?
Yes,
Are
sir.
they like two different? Why is it happen?
Sir, octaves, low octave.
No, it's not about octaves or all the other things. Here, what is happening? I gave you a formula. And look at that formula and relate it. It's the same string. So
Sir, you
frequency
played
depends
in
on.
different notes. You played in
I
different
played
notes.
exactly. So what I did is, when I kept my hand here, I created a node at the point where I kept my hand. Right? Are you able to hear it at higher pitch? Because frequency is inversely proportional to length. That's what the formula says, no? That's why you're getting a higher pitch. When I play it here, you're getting a lower note. Because wherever I touch, I'm creating a node. Guys, does that make sense? Are you able to understand why we are learning these things? Right? Now see, I'm trying to touch the bottom one. Bottom will be even more base because it's a thick string. You look at the formula again. You people have the formula, no? F is inversely proportional to mu also. Mu means what? Mu is more mass. You look at it, third one is more thicker. So you will have a base tone. And you're able to see a standing wave. You're able to see a standing wave.
That figures, sir. You're asking about the figure.
No, no. You look at the string I'm playing. Look at the right of my forefinger. Are you able to see that this string is vibrating?
Yes, sir.
That is
Yes.
so I hold it here. Are you able to see a standing wave? Right? So this is what happens, guys. This is what I wanted to show you. So you're able to understand why. Are you able to understand whatever you're learning as an application? Are you able to relate
Yes, sir.
theory to what practicals I showed? Okay. So this is all about a stringed instrument. If suppose, so if you know this concept, right, you can actually design your own musical instrument also. So next class, what I will do is, I have to explain what will happen when the ends are open. What are the open instruments that you know? What are the
Sir,
open? What are the instruments that are
open instruments
means?
with open strings.
No, not about strings. What are the instrument that you know that is open at both the ends?
Keyboard.
It's a flute. Organ pipes are open, right? So if you see those pipes which are open at both the ends, no, I told you there is another point also. Till now, whatever we saw, at fixed end, there will always be a node. At an open end, there is always an antinode. So instruments which are open at both the ends, there will be an antinode that is formed. Right? So I've actually designed a pan flute that I did it last year. I've designed a pan flute using PVC pipes. I'll show it to you in the next class. I'll explain the theory, then I'll play it and show it to you. You guys can actually, I'll match the notes and show you. Okay. So everything has an application. All these are applications of standing waves. Clear, guys? So ensure you're revising all these things. 2 more classes, we'll be able to complete this chapter.
Sir, you
Okay.
used the strings also, sir, to create the pan flute, that like normal strings, that pan for
No
the
need. No,
standing wave.
pan flute doesn't need any string. No. Pan flute doesn't need any string. It's fully based on air only, the vibration of molecules in the air.
Sir, then
That's how
how
it
is the
works.
waves formed, sir?
I'll show you in the next class.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Is this clear, guys?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So that's all from my side for today. Next class, I will explain you about. So there are 2 more combinations. Now what we saw is fixed at both the ends. Then what will be the other combination? Open at both the. There are 2 instruments. What are all the permutations, combinations possible? The thing can be fixed at both the ends. That is an example of string instrument. Open at both the ends. That is an example of a flute. Okay, one end can be closed and the other end can be open. That is an example of a resonating pipe. Like for example, you have a water glass you hit. If at all you guys watch musical shows, you can see Shivamani hitting something and creating some sounds. No? Water will get reflected. The sound will get reflected and you can hear them. Those are all called as resonating things. So all those things I'll show it to you in the next class. Okay. So any other doubt from today's class?
No, sir.
Okay. Just a minute. I'll take attendance and you can leave.